The most dangerous AI model in the world leaked through a third-party vendor environment in 14 hours. But this wasn't an AI breach. This was a SaaS breach in an AI costume. On April 26, 2025, JPMorgan Chase's Chief Information Security Officer, Patrick Opet, published an open letter to the entire software industry. His thesis was simple. The modern SaaS delivery model is quietly enabling cyber attackers, and as adoption grows, it is becoming a systemic vulnerability that weakens the global economic system. 1 year later, that letter reads less like an opinion and more like a forecast. Strip out the corporate language, and Opet's argument breaks into 4 claims. First, modern integration patterns dismantle essential boundaries, OAuth tokens, direct service-to-service trust, default on access between vendors and your most sensitive internal systems. Second, software vendors are gaining privileged access to customer systems without explicit consent and without transparency. Third, your real risk isn't your third-party vendor. It's the fourth-party vendor behind them that you don't even know exists. And fourth, security keeps losing the internal argument to feature velocity. Rushed releases, default off security, ship it and patch later. That was April 26, 2025. Let's count the receipts. August, the Drift Salesloft breach, stolen OAuth tokens, 700 plus customer Salesforce instances, Cloudflare, Zscaler, Palo Alto Networks, pure Opet bingo. November, Gainsight, another 200 Salesforce instances compromised by ShinyHunters, same pattern, different vendor. Also November, GTG-1002, a Chinese state-sponsored group, used Claude Code itself to run espionage against 30 global targets with almost no human in the loop. February through April 2026, Vercel and Context.ai, OAuth supply chain attack via InfoStealer malware, same script. And the kicker, 99.4% of CISOs reported a SaaS or AI ecosystem security incident in 2025. The other 0.6% probably haven't found theirs yet. Then came Mythos. Anthropic's Mythos was, in their own words, too dangerous to release. A model designed to identify and exploit vulnerabilities in every major operating system and every major browser at machine speed. On April 7, 2026, Anthropic announced a controlled preview through Project Glasswing, 40 critical infrastructure partners, early access, patch first, then disclose. 14 hours later, unauthorized users were inside the model. Here's how. Anthropic was compromised because of a breach at Mercor. Mercor was compromised because of a breach at LiteLLM. LiteLLM was compromised because of fake credentials from a third-party provider called Delve, plus predictable URL conventions, plus shared contractor credentials. Read the chain again. Anthropic, Mercor, LiteLLM Delve. This was supply chain 101 wearing an AI costume. This is the part everyone's getting wrong. Most of the post-Mythos coverage is about model safety, about whether Anthropic should have built Mythos at all, about AI risk, but the model didn't fail. The vendor chain failed. Model safety can't fix vendor stupidity. There is no alignment technique on Earth that prevents a company called Delve from issuing fake credentials. Patrick Opet predicted this, not the specific model, the pattern. He told us on April 26, 2025, that the fourth-party vendors were the weak link. And 1 year later, the weakest fourth-party vendor in the world handed out the keys to the scariest model in the world. So what was the missing control? Segmentation, the discipline the industry quietly abandoned the moment SaaS made it inconvenient. A compromised AI agent does the same thing, at machine speed, without hesitation, often with broader permissions than a human would ever get. Segmentation is what limits the blast radius. It is the layer that keeps your high-value data out of the path of integration patterns that, in Opet's words, dismantle essential boundaries. If you take one thing from his letter, take that line. There are 2 products worth knowing here. The first is Trinity Cyber. They operate a full content inspection platform that opens live network sessions, identifies threats, and removes them in flight. Sub-millisecond latency, claimed accuracy above 99.99%. Gartner is now describing this as the new model for threat detection and response. Proactive, not reactive, not waiting for an alert. If Opet's letter is right, that vendor-to-vendor traffic is the new attack surface, Trinity Cyber is one of the only companies actually inspecting it. The second is Conceal. They handle the other surface, the browser. Their click-to-run isolation makes per-session decisions about which web traffic to route through an isolated environment. The browser is the universal SaaS endpoint. Most users live inside it. Most phishing lands inside it. Conceal treats the browser like the boundary it actually is. So 1 year ago, Patrick Opet wrote a letter. 1 year later, the industry mailed back a postcard signed by Mythos. Read the letter, then segment your data, inspect your traffic, and stop pretending that the AI breach is a different category of problem than the SaaS breach. It isn't. It never was. I really appreciate you watching. If you found this valuable, please hit that like button and subscribe so you don't miss what's coming next.